You don't have to buy if you don't want to buy. If you don't buy, you don't have to pay the commission. You have two options. Either increase the house, in price of the house, and get that money back. Like you agree on 350, you say we'll do 360, but 10,000 credit, so I can have that 10,000 to pay for my agent, or you pay my agent, directly, so I don't get that money because the bank sometimes is not okay with that. Or increasing interest rate. Of course, it now becomes painful, because now I have to, increase the price because of my agent. But it's always been like that. You pay 400 for the house because the seller needs to pay the agents. Every time I, as an agent, go to the seller, let's price your home at 400,000. At the end of the day, you're gonna get 340. Let's say. I mean, it's gonna be more, but let's just say. And then we break down. This is the commission. This is the title. This is the taxes. This is the transfer stamps. This is survey. This is attorney. Boom, boom. Transfers, village stamp, city, county, and seller sees all the numbers, and seller's like, wow, it's a lot. Or this is, what can I do? Somebody's paying. So they are sellers, they're paying. But they were also buyers a couple of years ago. Yeah. They weren't paying. Now they have to pay on the back end. So it's like you're paying upfront a little bit sometimes. My opinion is that most of the time sellers will still be paying because they have more money. They have the equity. They've built up the equity. Prices went up. They have that equity. It's easier for them to pay. For the buyers, it's going to be harder. But some buyers will be paying. I believe that the overall commissions are going to shrink. A lot of agents going to leave. Some buyers will start paying. Some of the buyers will be paying. I mean, it's like that in Europe. All over Europe, buyers are paying. So it's going to become a norm, and it's going to be the way it is. There's no other way. Market is going to balance itself, and some sellers will be paying, some buyers will be paying. There's going to be a bunch of negotiations. And sometimes, like if you look at the buyer who puts 3% down, it's almost impossible for them to buy a house between 2020 and 2024. It's super competitive, bunch of cash offers, but for somehow we've been able to sell those buyers' homes as well. We put one offer, doesn't go. Two offers, doesn't go. Third offer, doesn't go. Sixth offer, we got it. And the buyer's happy. Same thing. We're now going to be like, buyer doesn't have money for commission. First offer, doesn't work. Second offer, doesn't work. Boom, we got it. That's how it's going to work. Just you have to understand that now you will be communicating the value because buyers now they're looking like, what? Okay, if I have to pay, I want to see what I'm paying for. Like if you don't pick up the phone and if you don't show up, when I need you to show up, and if you don't, research what I want you to research, you don't really deserve much. Cancellation notice, please, And then that's why a lot of agents can't sign it because the buyer doesn't know how to cancel it. There will be questions about cancellations. Okay, 6 months agreement, it's half a year. And you didn't tell me that I don't have to pay if I don't buy. And if I don't want to pay, I don't have to buy. Two things are very important. If I don't want to buy, I don't have to pay and I don't have to buy. And if you don't touch on that as a buyer's agent, they're gone. Because there's their fear and they cannot communicate because they feel confrontation. Sometimes you're such a good person that I don't want to ask that question. And if you don't touch on it, they're not going to ask. And then they're going to go to somebody else. And then they're going to ask that. And somebody else, whatever they say, it's how it's going to work. Sometimes sellers also want to cancel their listing agents. And listing agents say no. And they're on the market with the agent who doesn't want to cancel the agreement. And sometimes they sell, close, and the agent makes money, but then relationship is gone. It's just different ways to do business, and everybody's different. That's why good agents, like the ones that are watching right now, should be communicating value, and knowing your scripts is not only for yourself, but because you're a good person and you need to educate the people so they don't end up being in the people's hands, the ones that have intentions of locking buyers into agreements and never canceling them. Because I think that it was always cancelable until today. It was never written. Some agents will write, most won't. write any contract with their buyers, and it was always cancelable any time. I have no problem explaining, but so far, even asking our agents, not much pushback. We signed a bunch of agreements already. But they've been trained. We trained probably 20 training classes on this topic. We had people over. We had so much. We're talking about it in the chat. We have so much on this topic. So I think we're well equipped. Some agents that don't participate in that, they don't feel, that information that much. They don't feel the training as much, but they will be asking questions when it comes. But majority are well informed. I think we're in a good spot, and I had a couple of these conversations. We've been using the compensation addendum to raise to get the payment from the seller. Everything so far has been okay, but it's only been 2 business days. It started on Saturday. Today's Tuesday. It's only been 2 business days, so we'll see how it goes. I'm sure some sellers will decide not to pay. And there will always be a buyer who decides to cancel an agreement and go straight to the seller and decide, look, this is harder than I thought. Let's cancel an agreement. Let me go back straight to the seller. There will become some of those. They're out there also right now. Take some time for market to decide which way to go. And majority is most of the things will remain the same. The real problem that was before is that the seller gives to the agent, and then agents share. So that's the whole colluding. The agents colluded. I can see where that came from. The truth is that it was always negotiable and will be negotiable. The real estate commissions, but now it's just every agent's commission will have to be paid either by the seller or by the buyer. There's no broker to broker anymore. That was the issue. The brokers were sharing. It was set. It was, whoever gets this much. And now that gets disappeared. And so now only seller and buyer decides what brokers are getting paid.